Welcome to our webinar. My name is Sheila Gold. I am the Assistant Dean of Recruitment and Admissions for Tulane School of Professional Advancement. And I'm excited that you're at our webinar tonight. We're going to talk about our graduate programs at SoPA. We'll talk a little bit about the history of the school, our programs, our application process. This whole webinar takes about 20 minutes. So I like to let people know that. I know that we're sort of at the end of a long Monday, so I don't want you to think that you have to like strap in for 60 full minutes of like me droning on and on. And you don't necessarily have to take notes. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to send a follow-up email thanking you for attending. And we'll also send you the recording of this webinar. So if there's anything that you wanted to like go back and review, or if you forgot what I said, you can go ahead and do that. And it just frees you up from having to take notes while listening to what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so a little bit about the School of Professional Advancement. Tulane University is made up of 10 separate schools, one of which is the School of Professional Advancement. We're actually the third oldest school at the university. The university started off as a medical school. Shortly thereafter, the law school was created. And then the School of Professional Advancement, in its very first iteration, was founded about 130 years ago. The mission of the school has remained constant. The name of the school has changed somewhat over the years, but the mission of the school has always been to offer a Tulane education and a Tulane degree to working adults and non-traditional students. So when you think of any student who is other than that traditional 18-year-old that just graduated high school and is starting their freshman year of college, that is what we're referring to as a non-traditional student. So all of our students at SoPA are coming to us. They're either completing a degree that maybe they started years ago, they're switching degrees, maybe they're switching careers, and they're interested in coming back for additional education, whether it be a full master's degree or just a graduate certificate. And most of our students, the vast majority, if not all of them, are doing other things while going to school. Most of them are working while going to school, and many of them also have responsibilities at home, whether it's raising children or taking care of other members of the family. So we sort of tailor the way that we instruct our students to accommodate an adult learner. So that is what the School of Professional Advancement does. So we are located on the Uptown campus, which is the main campus of Tulane University. This is our building. It is called Richardson Hall. All of our administrative offices are on the second floor. If you're ever on the campus or if you're in New Orleans and you would like to come visit us, we would love to see you. We also have a picture of our student lounge with the big mural on the wall that says "Where You Belong." Not only is that meant to be a message to you all as prospective students of "We want you, you belong here, and we're excited to have you," but that design was actually created and painted by our digital design students in our undergraduate programs. So they actually did that for a school project, and we loved it so much that we hired them and commissioned them to put that on the wall. So there's a little bit of a dual meaning going on there. So, we from time to time get asked from prospective students, like, what's this School of Professional Advancement? Like, is this a Tulane school? Absolutely. Like I said, it's one of the 10 schools that makes up the university. And this is what your degree will look like when you graduate. It will say Tulane University, School of Professional Advancement. It will have your name and it will have the degree that you earned after you graduate. So when you finish your program, you will have a degree that looks like this up on your wall. So we like to let folks know this is the end goal. Tonight is the very first step towards getting you this diploma. So, a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about our faculty and what I think makes our faculty special and a little bit different from other schools that you might be looking at. We're going to talk about the learning experience. All of our graduate programs and certificates are online. And so we like to talk to students about what that online experience is like. Some of you may have had experience learning online. Some of you may have not, but we feel like even if you have had an experience learning online, ours is a little different and we feel like a little better. How we support students to be successful while they're in our programs. And then we'll talk a little bit about our tuition and our application process. So, a little bit about our faculty. So, all of the faculty that teach at the School of Professional Advancement are what we call professors of practice. So, what that means is that all of our faculty are actually professionals in the field that they teach. Like they're currently professionals, they are working adults in the field that they teach. So, you're learning from the people who will potentially be your colleagues or your employers. And we feel that this gives our students an advantage because you're learning from people who are teaching you what skills you need in the workforce today in order to get a job upon graduation. So, for instance, Ashley Hand is the director of strategic communications for Kansas City. She teaches in our Masters of Public Administration program. So, who better to teach you about public administration than somebody that actually works in public administration? So, she comes in and gives you the wealth of her knowledge in her class. Derek Bose teaches in our emergency and security program, and he is the former chief administrative officer for the Louisiana Flood Protection Authority. So, if there's somebody who's going to teach you about emergency and disaster, you want somebody who has done that work in real time. Tyra Mitchell has her doctorate in physical therapy, and she's one of our professors in our kinesiology program. Ralph Russo is the director, the program director of our cyber and IT programs. He is a former commanding officer for NYPD, and after 9/11, he helped them put together their cyber security unit. So, you all, once again, this is just a smattering of our professors. We have dozens and dozens of professors, and they all have a similar experience. Our next slide has a little quote on it that I'm gonna read to you, even though I know that you all can read. I think that this really sums it up. Amanda Fennell is an adjunct professor for us in our IT program in our cyber program. And she says, as a cybersecurity leader, I feel it's vital to prepare our professionals, which is you all, the students, through practical experience, which is why I incorporate my day job into my classes at night. And so that's the perfect way to sum up that our teachers do what they do during the day, and then they bring it into the classroom and give that current today knowledge to you all. And we do feel like that's a competitive edge. So there's two ways that at the graduate level you can get a credential from us. If you want to get a full master's degree, we offer those. And if you're looking for a graduate certificate, which is 4 classes in a very concentrated knowledge area, you can get a graduate certificate. Now, the good news is that our graduate certificates are stackable into the master's degrees. So many students start off saying, I just want a graduate certificate. They take those 4 classes and then they realize I'm a third of the way to a master's. And then they'll just continue on and finish up and get their master's. So you have that flexibility if you want to stop after the certificate. That is a completely acceptable pathway. Or if you're like, I just want to continue on, then you're already have made progress towards your master's degree. So these are the master's degrees that we offer. Cybersecurity management. And like I said, you all are going to get this sent to you. So don't necessarily feel like you have to furiously write these down. Cybersecurity management, emergency management, homeland security studies, IT management, sports studies, a master of liberal arts, master of public administration, a master of teaching, which is for those of you who want to be classroom teachers. And then for those of you who would like to get a master's degree that can help you be an educational leader, we have 4 different MED options. educational leadership, learning experience and design, special education, and teaching English learners. And the MED is typically for students who are interested in becoming principals or deans, that sort of level, district directors, that sort of thing. We also, like I said, this is just a little visual. If you're interested in getting just the graduate certificate, you can do that, but it does stack into the larger master's degrees. So for an additional 6 to 8 classes after your graduate certificate, you can get the full master's degree. So these are the graduate certificates that we offer. There are graduate certificates in every area for which we offer a master's degree, obviously, because that's how they can stack in. And I'm not going to read all of these to you, but if you're interested in any of our major program areas, there are several options of certificates for you to pursue. Some of you might feel like, I don't want a full MPA. I don't have 2 years to devote to being in school, but you may want to really focus on nonprofit profit and strategic philanthropy management. That's great. You can get a certificate in just that. Same thing with any of these, just cyber defense, just open intelligence. So these are different and flexible ways for you all to achieve your goals. Okay, so we also feel like our learning experience at SoPA is a little bit different from what you might be used to in terms of online learning. So, like I said, our master's level classes are all online, but that is not a isolated learning experience. You're not going to be sitting at home and just sort of flipping through a PowerPoint and answering some questions on a discussion board and turning that in for work. You will, like monthly or every so often throughout the semester, have a class very much in the format that we're in now, where you will have to zoom in and you'll have discussions with other classmates and your professors. So there is an interactive element. Many of the classes do have small group work so that you will get to know other folks in your cohort. Then you will get to work together and create a professional network. And we also have very creative and interactive curriculum. So, like I said, it's not a matter of just clicking through a PowerPoint and answering some questions or writing a paper. Two examples of this are several of our classes actually have projects that are in the metaverse. So it's almost a virtual reality setting where you all will log in, you'll create an avatar for yourself, and you'll have a problem to solve that relates to the classwork. You will solve the problem in a virtual reality setting and you'll submit your resolution to that problem as your homework for that week. Super interactive, mimics real life, gives you like a sense of sort of a hands-on experience and a lot more fun than just clicking through a PowerPoint. Another way that we try to differentiate the way that we deliver curriculum is several of our professors have created podcasts. So instead of reading a chapter in a book, you can listen to 15 minutes of the podcast on the way to work, 15 minutes on the way back, another 20 minutes while you're making a salad for dinner. It's just a different way to consume that week's lesson that's a little bit different, easier, and for some people even more interesting. If you're an auditory learner, then hearing by a podcast is actually going to be your preferred method of delivery. So we do try to work with students to make it engaging and interactive. And I think you'll find that it's a lot more enjoyable and that the user experience is elevated from other programs that you might have experienced in the past. All right. One last thing. I know I'm tooting our horn, but that is my job here. But we are committed to helping our students be successful. So we're not just interested in having you all apply and get admitted, although that's a very good part. We want you to get that degree that we showed you in the previous slide. We want that to be on your wall and have you be a proud alum. So we're committed to having our students be successful once they're in our program. So you will be wrapped in a lot of support during your journey at Tulane SoPA. You're going to have an academic advisor, and this is a person who you can go to help you pick your classes. They can help you choose which classes to take. If you're needing an extra support in your class, they can help you get in touch with the writing lab or some other resources on campus that can help you with accommodations. If you have some learning needs that need to be accommodated, if you have to take a medical withdrawal, I hope none of you have to do that. This is the person that would help you do that. So that's your academic advisor. You will also have a faculty advisor. And remember, all of our faculty are professors of practice. So not only is this an academic person that could help you, but think of them also as like a professional mentor. They are out there in the field that you're studying. So if you're taking a class that you really love, you can reach out to them and be like, I actually am really enjoying this class I'm taking this semester. Are there other classes that I can like learn more about this same thing? How do I translate this class into a job when it comes time for graduation? Like, use them in that way. They can open you up to their professional network and also their years of expertise. We also have our own dedicated career advisor who's just for SOPA students. We do not share her with any other part of the university. She is here to help you put your LinkedIn page together, to help you put your resume together. Maybe you've had a resume, but you want to sort of like make it a little more current and zhuzh it up a little bit. She can help you with that. She also, if you have a job interview, you can reach out to her and set up like a 30-minute appointment, and she could do a mock job interview with you to help you sort of like answer questions, get your elevator pitch a little bit smoothed out. Maybe she can give you for some feedback. So use her that way. That is a resource to you that you should for sure take advantage of. So we just want you to know that you all, once you enter this program, you are not in it alone. We want to see you cross that finish line. All right. One other thing that we do that we feel like is helpful to working professionals is that we offer what's called credit for prior learning. So oftentimes our students have worked in the field professionally in which they're pursuing their master's degree. So from time to time, and not infrequently, a student will be required to take a class in their master's degree that they actually have all that expertise in already. And so if you run across a class, if you've been, for instance, if you want to get your master's in public administration, but you've been working in local government for 15 years, there might be like a grant writing class that you have to take. And you're like, I've actually written 25 grants over the course of my career. I don't know if I need to take a grant writing class. You can meet with your professor and they can work with you, or I'm sorry, your advisor, and they can work with you to demonstrate to your professor that you actually already know all the objectives that are on that syllabus for the semester. And you'd probably have to turn in like a grant that you've written and write like a little paper saying, I know how to write grants and this is my experience. But then you can get credit for that class. So not only will that save you time, but it'll also save you tuition money towards graduation. So this is not something that we sort of mentioned lightly. You should take advantage of this. And at the graduate level, you can do that for up to 2 courses. All right, so here's a little bit about our tuition rates. So the majority of our classes are 3 credit hour classes, and they are for the fall term, which is the next term that we are enrolling for, are $3,924 per course. We tend to cap our fees. There are some courses where this is different, but the majority of our courses, we cap our fees at about $150 a semester. So you should not really, you're just paying tuition with this little fee amount on top of it. This is something to keep in mind when you're shopping around, different schools. Ask about the fees because many schools will give you their tuition rate and not talk about their fees. But once you start adding up the fees, it can almost double the tuition rate. That is not the case at Tulane SoPA. We're very intentional about that. um, our Master of Art in Teaching and our graduate certificates in special education and teaching English learners are actually at our undergraduate rate, which is $2,000, $22 per course. So if you're interested in those programs, they're actually at a different rate. We do offer 20% tuition discounts to certain groups of professionals. So I'll go through those. I hope every single one of you fall into these categories. It would be great if everybody could get a discount. If you're active duty or military or a veteran, if you're an alum of Tulane, if you already have a Tulane degree, if you're active or retired federal, state, or local emergency service or law enforcement, if you are a member of the PTK Honor Society, if you are a K through 12 teacher, if you work for Louisiana state or local government, or if you're a member of one of our professional and partnership agencies. You would probably know if you were a member of those, but if you go on our website, we do have a list of those partnership agencies. Okay, so a little bit about our application. Our application is an electronic application, so it lives on our website. Go to sopa.tulane.edu. Up at the top is a big button that says apply. Click that button. It will ask you if you're applying to undergraduate or graduate. You all are interested in graduate. So that would be the application that you need to fill out. We will need transcripts from any school from which you've received college credit. So you can send those to us electronically. Just go to the registrar's website of whatever schools you've gotten higher education credit from. Request that they be sent to Tulane SoPA, and we should get those in 24 to 48 hours. On our graduate application, you will need to give us a picture of a current government ID. For most people, just take your phone and take a picture of your driver's license and upload that. And we will require a writing sample, short answer questions on our graduate application and your resume. We do not require any standardized tests, so that's usually good news for most people. And then the last thing is that our application does have a $50 application fee, but for attendees of our webinars, as a way to say thank you for spending 20 minutes on a Monday night, we actually waive that fee. So if you have not submitted your application yet, go ahead and submit it. You should not get asked to pay a fee because we've checked your attendance. So you should not get asked to pay it. If you've already submitted your application and paid it, please email me after this and I can refund that $50. It's very easy to do. Do not be shy about it. We don't, like laugh at you or anything. If you send us that email, it would be my pleasure. If for some reason you submit your application after attending this webinar and they do ask you to pay the fee, email me also, and I'll make sure that we waive it. So we don't want, we really do want to say thank you for taking time out of your afternoon to hear about our program. All right, and then the last thing is that we have application deadlines and some early enrollment scholarship deadlines. Unfortunately, the summer deadline is passed, so that is not helpful, and our summer program is coming to an end. Our fall application deadline is August 1, and the early enrollment scholarship deadline is tomorrow. So that timing isn't great. So if you're applying for the fall, you still have time to get your application in. You do not have time to register for early enrollment. If you're interested in the spring semester, which starts in January, that application deadline is January 1. If you apply and register for classes before December 1st, so you have plenty of time, you will get $500 off your first semester. We just deduct that off your first semester tuition. If you're really planning ahead and you're applying for next summer's enrollment, that application is actually open, and you have all the way until April 25th of next year to go ahead and get that early enrollment scholarship. So you have plenty of time for that. So, like I said, our application is open now, still for the fall. So please go ahead and submit that. You have 2 more weeks to be able to apply for the fall term. Okay, so my contact information is on the screen in front of you, sgold@tulane.edu. There is a phone number. Don't really call me. I'm not always at my desk, but I am usually in front of my computer in meetings, so I can email you much more quickly than I can call you back. And if you all have any questions, please reach out. We love hearing from our students. We love getting to know you all, and we consider the application process sort of the beginning of building our relationship with students. So please reach out and let me know if there's anything that I can answer for you all. But I'm thrilled that you took some time out of your day to hear about our programs. And I hope that we will be welcoming each of you as a student to SoPA very soon. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your nights. We appreciate you being here.